Welcome. I'm with Dr. Joe Marra, and Joe's going to lead us through an energy medicine healing.
Great. Okay, everybody close their eyes and take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out the mouth. In the nose and out through the mouth. Now as you're relaxing and closing your eyes, I want you to visualize and imagine this energy from the high source of creation that's coming through the crown chakra or the top of your head. And as this energy flows freely through the top of your head, radiating downward, penetrating deep into every organ, every tissue, and every cell of your being, I want you to call upon Archangel Raphael. Allow his green streaming energy to flow and mix and mingle with this high source of creation energy so that you feel protected and have this unconditional love that's all around you. For any healings that you may need at this time, whether it be emotional, or mental, physical, or spiritual, allow this energy to radiate and penetrate as it descends downward into the brain tissue, down the spinal cord, and with each synapse and each firing of your nervous system, this green and white energy that's mixed together flows freely through your entire nervous system, pushing out any negativity, any blockages, or any attachments. Allow this energy to flow freely. You can almost feel the warm, free-flowing energy, almost like warm liquid, as it descends downward over the body, penetrating into your third eye chakra, opening up your third eye chakra, continuing downward over the face, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, penetrating deep into your sinus cavities, continuing downward into your throat chakra, opening up your throat chakra so that all your chakra centers can communicate harmoniously with one another. Continually visualizing and imagining this green light from Archangel Raphael as this energy flows freely down over your shoulders, your upper arms, your lower arms, your hands, and as the energy flows down into your chest, penetrating deep into every organ, every tissue, and every cell of your being, opening up your heart chakra so that all your chakra centers can communicate, again, harmoniously with one another. Penetrating deep into your heart, and heart tissue, and your lung tissue. And with each beat of the heart, you can visualize and imagine this green, free-flowing energy pulsates through your arteries and your veins, your arterioles. And as this energy continually flows downward, down into your solar plexus, opening up that solar plexus chakra, penetrating deep into all your organs, your liver, your spleen, your bladder, your gallbladder, all your male or female parts, and all the other organs of the abdomen, as this free-flowing, warm energy descends downward over the body. Allow this energy to continue downward into your pelvis, penetrating deep into every organ, every tissue, and every cell of your being. Also cleansing the aura and your meridian channels as it goes. Opening up that sacral chakra, then continuing down into the root chakra, opening up all the chakra centers so that they can communicate with one another. Continually visualizing Archangel Raphael sending his love of light. You can visualize it as a green energy and feeling this warm, free-flowing energy as it descends downward over the body, mixed with this energy from the highest source of creation. And as the energy flows downward, down your upper legs, your lower legs, and out the bottoms of your feet, you can visualize and imagine this energy goes down into Mother Earth, penetrating deep. So deep that it encompasses the crystalline core of the earth. You're sending her this unconditional love of light from the highest source of creation and Archangel Raphael to help heal her during this transitional time. And as this energy flows from the central core of Mother Earth, radiates outward into the surface, penetrating and radiating every one and everything, including the rocks and the animals and the humans, maybe even the interdimensionals, everything and everybody, raising that vibratory frequency to that next level to ease the transition at this particular time and place and space. Allow Mother Earth now to send her unconditional love through your feet, up your legs, into your pelvis, through that root chakra, your sacral chakra, into the abdomen, into that deep-seated chakra that's rested just below the sternum, your solar plexus chakra. And as this energy ascends up into the heart chakra, you can feel this warm, loving energy from Mother Earth as it continues upward, ascending, again opening the heart chakra, then up into the throat chakra, radiating into your facial region, your third eye, then your crown chakra, and then sending that energy back up to the high source of creation and Archangel Raphael, so that all of these energies, including your own, are blending together, feeling that oneness, that connection to all that is. Allowing yourself to be that clear channel of love and light. Now that you're in this particular place and space of love and light, be in gratitude, thanking Archangel Raphael, thanking Mother Earth, and the high sources of creation. Allow the energies to start pulling back now of Mother Earth down through the crown chakra, the third eye chakra, the throat, on into the heart chakra, the solar plexus, on into the sacral region, the root chakra, down your legs, out your feet, and back into Mother Earth. Now you can visualize and imagine Archangel Raphael and the high source of creation blending as it's coming from your feet, ascending back up your legs, into your root chakra, your sacral chakra, into the abdomen, the solar plexus, the heart chakra, up into the throat chakra, up your face, continuing upwards, ascending to the third eye chakra, into the crown chakra, then the high source of creation pulling back all together now, and Archangel Raphael pulling that green energy back, being in total bliss and grace, in harmony with all that is. Now allow yourself to take some deep breaths in through the nose and out the mouth, becoming aware of your body now, wiggling your fingers and your toes. Taking a few more deep breaths in, being well aware of your legs, arms, and torso, coming out at your own leisure. Feeling refreshed and revitalized and better than before.
Okay. Yeah. Good to see you, Joe.
I don't know. Some people don't like to come back.
Right. It was a very good journey.
Wonderful. So do you feel refreshed, lighter? How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel good. When that brief phone call came in at the beginning, I didn't expect it. It distracted me a little bit, but it just served me to get back on track.
Yeah.
And I could really feel the energy coming down, especially around the throat chakra.
Wonderful.
And that opened up a lot there, and then down through my body. And I imagine those who are watching that they can, no matter where they are and what time it is or date, because this energy medicine is non-local, they can do this and participate in this.
Absolutely. Yeah, so whoever wants to participate in this, like you said, Alfred, it could be any time, place, space, and it doesn't have to be that they particularly get it directly from me. Obviously, we're doing a video chat, and you're in Vancouver, Canada,
Right.
And I'm in central Pennsylvania, and obviously the energy still flows.
Yeah, I feel much lighter and very refreshed.
Wonderful.
And really very good.
Well, if there's any listeners that are out there that have a positive experience and they want to email you or myself, it would be interesting to note, as we've done in the past, we've had some
sure
experiences with this.
Yeah. What we'll do is we'll put the different addresses so people can get back to us.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Now, so is there anything that you want to share with us about energy medicine and how it works, and you know what the principles are and things that people should know?
Well, basically, I really feel that everyone on this planet is innately has a healing ability to heal themselves. In fact, they can heal themselves and other people around them. And it just basically comes down to their thought and their intent. And if you have a focused point of thought, almost like a magnifying glass with the energy of the sun that goes through, it creates a fire. So the same goes true with energy. If you focus your intent so entirely on healing, two things have to happen, though. I mean, there's a few variables involved. One is the person that's receiving the healing has to accept it, for one. It's their free will, their choice. And the person delivering, if you will, or becoming the instrument of the energy that flows through them, they have to have a pure intent to heal that person unconditionally, through unconditional love. And anybody on this planet, I really feel, could and can do this. The only reason we probably can't is because we've been told we can't. And I really think that mainstream medicine is going to become obsolete in the future. And there's already research out there now that shows that there are actually energy devices, if you will, that are causing change in people's DNA And, you know, the mainstream medicine, it's not being put out yet. But personally, I know of some individuals that are involved in their own personal research. And in the near future, all this type of technology is going to come out. And so I don't fear it because I welcome the change. You know, as we all are one, if it benefits you, it benefits me. So I may be out of a job, but, you know, I'd rather see this planet on the rise of bigger and better things.
Well, but you're moving in the direction of energy medicine, so you're really
absolutely
you're really helping people understand a new direction, and that is that fundamentally we're interference patterns in an energy field.
Right.
That was one way that I heard someone express what we are.
Mm-hmm. One thing I'd like to mention, if I have the opportunity here, Alfred, is some of the pitfalls and the reasons why other practitioners don't do this type of work. One is traditionally you're not trained in any of this. This is something that you find out on your own. Two, for fear of litigation, because the mainstream world out there, primarily in this three-dimensional world that, well, up until now it's been three-dimensional. I mean, there's a lot of changes going on, but up until now, the fear of litigation, because if you go outside the scope of traditional medicine and say you offer your patients hypnotherapy or energy medicine, Reiki energy, whatever you want to call it, it's complementary to traditional medicine, there's a lot of fear of becoming sued because, you know, for instance, if someone's having chest pain and you feel that it's, you know, it could be healed through energy medicine and the person ends up having a heart attack, then of course, if you find yourself in the courtroom, how do you prove that energy medicine even exists? I mean, it's so cutting edge right now that the fear is there right now. So I really feel that I've come to basically bridge the gap and allow people that still believe in the traditional medicine to continue to seek out what they believe in, because ultimately it's about what becomes reality. And if you truly believe that a pill's going to cure you, then in most cases it will. I don't really think in a lot of cases it's the actual pill that was created from the pharmaceutical company that's really doing the work. I think it's the person's intent and their thought.
Right. Now, but you're moving away from the allopathic model and into the energy medicine model. Is that
right?
Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you're just going to be starting treating people purely from the energy medicine model.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But you won't be holding yourself out as a doctor, or you will. Or you haven't reached that bridge yet.
Well, basically right now, the direction I'm going in is exactly what you're saying. I would rather treat with a complementary approach, which is energy medicine, and I would
energy medicine.
Yeah, I would call it realistic, but you know, some people don't believe in it, and
yeah.
I'd like other practitioners, if there's any that are watching this, is to explore it and to do a little bit of research on their own and not listen to what other people have to say.
Right.
Because, you know, I've studied traditional medicine, and you know, I have owned my urgent care center now for 5 years, over 5 years, and independently, and I've been practicing family medicine, urgent care. And I've also studied energy medicine, hypnotherapy, Reiki, Moon Aiki, many others. And, you know, truly, we don't need what's in the past, the old stuff, you know, the medications. But, you know, one of the variables is the consciousness field that's all around us. The more people that believe in energy medicine, of course, it's going to work. That's how it works in a church. When people go to pray, it's not the church or that particular religion that causes a miracle. It's the number of people in the same church at the same time with their thought or their intent on a particular healing or prayer. When
Right.
people combine and commune, that's where the miracle happens. And I really feel that the more people that know about energy medicine and they explore it and experience it, it's going to become a reality. And then it's going to be, it is what it is at that point.
Right. Right. So part of your function is educating people about energy medicine. So you could be doing that as you practice energy medicine. It seems to me.
Absolutely. Yeah. So basically, right now, I've started to lecture and I started to speak at smaller workshops and to speak out on what I've learned. And you know, if anybody's interested, I mean, you and I actually spoke at the Free Your Minds conference, and
That's right. That's right.
and I have a few more speaking engagements that are coming up. In fact, this month I have 5 in
Wow.
October. Yeah, it's becoming more and more interesting, I guess, to people to find out what the story is, because
Sure.
a lot of people have called me a bit of an enigma, because most people that are in traditional medicine don't go off on this path. But you
Right.
know, when it's sitting right in front of you, what do you do with it? You're not trained in mainstream medicine to deal with it or even know anything about it, other than to prescribe a medication that combats what the person's telling you. And I just don't think that's the right path. I really think that energy medicine, or energy in and of itself, I really think everything around us, including us. Now, we perceive things with 5 senses that we're gifted with, if you will, and just because we can't see it or hear it or feel it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I mean, what about gravity? You know, you don't know. There's no tool, no measurement. We've been told it's there, so I guess we believe it. And then if you picture the spectrum of light, say it's like this wide, we, the human beings, can only see this much of that spectrum of light. And what's beyond that? Just because we can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
So you're really evolving this new mode that you're going to be working in.
I think so. I think this is cutting edge. I think somebody has to go out and speak about it. And a lot of people that do this type of a thing, when you're cutting edge or you're a pioneer, you get ridiculed, and a lot of people call you crazy or a quack or any other thing. But until you experience it, until you see it, um,
Well, say if people want to be treated by you through energy medicine, how would they go about that?
I have a couple websites. The one is aguidinglight.com, which is LITE, aguidinglight.com. And then some of the research that I've done over the years, especially the past couple years, is on universaltalk.info. And many things have been discovered through my research, such as the Phoenix Lights. I've personally witnessed them. I caught them on camera. Um, Various people like Terry Eppoletti, who is a deep channel psychic. I've been to Cynthia Crawford's. I've been to the ESETI Ranch, the astral realm. I mean, many things that I've discovered through my research and traveling all over this country. And, you know, I've talked about this in the past, but, you know, treating people in family medicine, especially an urgent care center that's right off of a major interstate, they come through the town and they Google urgent care, and mine is the first one that pops up. So they come in. These are people from California, from Virginia, I mean, all over the world, from Japan, from China. Different people internationally come here. And, you know, I've had FBI agents, I've had CIA agents, Homeland Security, underground
Wow.
base. They're sitting like right here on this table, and the one time I'm sitting in this particular chair and I'm looking, and the guy's pistol's sticking out at me. And I'm looking at him like, what are you doing with a pistol in my office? And he pulls out a badge and he says, I'm Homeland Security. And he
Oh.
proceeds to tell me a little bit of his story. And then the next guy, who's an underground base, I don't know if you call them an operative. I don't know what you're, an agent.
These are people who work in the underground bases.
Right. And so there they are, and they have an infection, so they have to tell me a little bit about. Now, I'm sure they're not going against their code of ethics to tell me above and beyond what they're supposed to, but just by telling me that little bit that they work in an underground base, now I know they exist.
Yeah.
So a little bit of knowledge, and you put all these pieces together, then you have people with near-death experiences that come out of their body in an ER, and they're above their head, and they're looking at your bald spot in the back of your head, or, they find something on a cabinet that no one else could have seen. I mean, on and on and on. People that can bilocate, and psychics that are telling me something's going to happen tomorrow, and then it happens. I mean, when you're faced with this type of information, what do you do with it? You can't tell everybody they're crazy. And so you do a little bit of exploration. You're like, wow, this stuff really exists. So to me, it's exciting. And I do further research than just what's in the book and what we've been trained.
Right. Now, let me transition to another area, and that's not so much your persona as in energy medicine, but you're also concerned. You're a wide-ranging mind, and you have a talk show, Universal Talk, and you've also had premonitions about events, and you were talking about last March that you had a premonition about an event in March that then became the Fukushima nuclear false flag operation.
Right.
Could you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, when you do this type of work and you do healing energy, and the more, how should I say, the higher vibrational frequency you reach, you gain certain perspectives or certain gifts. Like some people become more psychic, and some people have a sight to them they never had before. So sometimes I have these intuitions, and I have a knowing about me that really I don't even know it's in there until I start talking about it, and then it just comes out. And it actually surprises me myself when it comes out. Like, oh, where'd that come from? That sounded pretty good. But back in January or February, I can't remember which, if you looked on David Corso's, one of his radio shows, he interviewed me, and I told him something big in March was going to happen. So if you wanted to check it out, this is prior to the event. I just knew something major was going to happen in March. I didn't know what it was exactly, but I get this gut feeling about me. And that's when the event happened in Japan.
And that was a false flag event. So, I mean, I'm just saying that in my humble opinion, but we've also done, and people can go to our Examiner page and see the articles there. We've done multiple programs with and articles with an independent scientist showing that it was most plausibly triggered by frequency weapons, and that it was an intentional radiation of the planet, kind of like a nuclear attack. So you seem to have focused on, I would say, a false flag event. And I'm just wondering, you said that this is in conversations prior to our program, that you felt something was coming up in October of 2011. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I hate to put a date or a time to anything because of the variables such as the consciousness field, the powers that be that can influence things one way or the other, depending how the flow of energy goes. Right here, right now, I would say that I feel like something major is going to happen in October. But that could change tomorrow or the next day.
Right.
right now, though, it feels to me something soon is going to impact this planet bigger than that event in Japan, I would say.
Because what is curious is that, and what is, coincidental in terms of time, is that if we take October 28th, 2011, that's the date that, according to some researchers like Dr. Carl Johan Kalaman and others that work in that sphere, that's the date at which the fluctuating sort of polarity of energy coming from the interdimensional portal at the core of our universe goes into direct unity consciousness. Right now, we're still in final fluctuations, and you can tie, for example, the U.S. debt crisis, the debt crisis negotiations, and the downgrade have all happened during these periods that are in negative territory on the scale of energy, supposedly coming in positive and negative from the interdimensional portal, but that as of October 28th, that chapter's over, and we're going to be on in a positive frame. And I think that right before that is a day, so it's the 7th day, so we're pretty much on positive most of October. I'm sure. I don't have it in front of me now. So from the universe energy point of view, it's all positive. And that's why people who say, oh, that may be the maximal impact of Comet Elenin. There are people who say, oh, it's just a piece of ice. And then other people are coming out with different models. Well, that it really heralds an expansion of consciousness. Are you picking up on an expansion of consciousness? Or are you picking up into unity consciousness? Or are you picking up on a traumatic event which is more allied to duality consciousness?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I don't like to put out doom and gloom, and it all depends on each individual person's perspective on it. So if you're in the fear factor mode and you're looking for the negative timeline, per se, as we've talked about in the past, then that's what you're going to attract because of the law of attraction. I really think 2011 is all about the law of attraction. So what you put out is what you're going to get back. But that being said, I think October is a huge month for something. I don't want to call it traumatic, but if you're in that realm of understanding or that awareness, that consciousness, and that vibration, that's what you're going to see it as. But I want to put myself in a higher vibration of positivity. So I feel that it's going to be positive. No matter what happens, it's going to eventually turn out to be more positive than, for instance, what if ETs landed on Washington front lawn? Something like that.
Yeah, ETs are now landing on Washington front lawn, as we know from these photographs of the BBC that happened on October 13th to 2010. But I mean that they are landing on the Washington, on the White House front lawn, more or less, and they are being simultaneously broadcast worldwide by the BBC. That's how wild things are right now.
So what if, though, say our president of the United States come out and gave disclosure that it was, you couldn't deny it? Because right now some people are still in denial. So if something huge would happen like disclosure, that changes the financial, that changes religion, that changes everything. Because then all the proof of what you speak of, what I speak of, and all the other people will be vindicated about what we've been talking about all these years. And then the people that are just going to be floored, like, oh my gosh, either they're going to be in fear which, like I said, I don't want to put this out there, but if you are in fear, you know, you'll know where to look, because you want to talk to the people that are positive and talking about the transition, the change, and humanity reaching its highest potential. I really think that's what this time is right now, as far as the 2012 phenomenon. I don't think it's a doom and gloom scenario like many have thought, or it could have been at one time, but the timeline that we're on now, I feel that there's a shift. What I personally feel, humanity has shifted more in a positive note, and because of the consciousness field, I really think that we're, especially if you're in that vibrational frequency, you're going to see more positive. But there is a little bit of a rough road, I think, that's going to be before us, but I don't think it's going to be natural disasters like the 2012 movies and all that kind of stuff. There's going to be some earth changes most likely, but there always have been. I think that it's for humanity, it's in their best interest for all this stuff to kind of shake out, so we can get out of the grips of the tyranny and the control and the power, and where all our money's going for these taxes and black ops projects that we don't even know where that's going. I think this is a positive thing.
Right. So that's actually fairly congruent with the view that in October of 2011, the consciousness energy waves go positive. They cease this alternative, and any structures that aren't in alignment with unity consciousness tend to break down. So yeah, if you're looking at and holding on to these old structures, you might have a bit of a rough ride. But if you're looking directly into the energy, you're going, yeah, this is expansion. Right. You know, so it just depends on what you're looking at, the energy at the core. Yep. Or if you're holding on to the old institution, then, you know, and identifying with that rather than with the unity consciousness energy.
Exactly.
So I can see now why energy medicine is so functional for this time, because not only are we energy, but the cosmic energy is shifting tremendously at this time. And you know, so I can see that. Tell us a bit now that I know that this is one of the last days of your center that we're seeing in the background there, right, and that you've got your websites, A Guiding Light and universaltalk.info. What are some of your plans about how you're bringing energy medicine to the world as you transition to another mode?
Well, thank you for allowing me this opportunity, because a lot of times people will talk the talk but not walk the walk. So it's easy to sit there and preach about things but not do anything personally. And personally, what you can see is this is my office here, but as the end of this month, August 26th, that's the last day. That's when I close on this office. I sold my building, and I don't plan on practicing traditional medicine any longer. I'd like to do energy medicine, and depending how this all shakes out, you know, I sold my home, I sold this office, and my home closes the end of October, so I'm basically going to be homeless. And I've been throwing the idea around of purchasing a motorhome, and that way I can be mobile and just start speaking. I mean, like I said, the more people hear about this, the more they want to know a little more about it. So I think it's important in these times, not just about medicine, because people think of going to the doctors with that, but really I think it's a holistic approach to the world. I mean, it's the emotional, it's the mental, it's the physical, spiritual, the whole gamut. And if I can become more mobile, I can travel the world a little bit, at least the United States, and maybe help some people along the way. And this is a new transition for me. You know, my family, I grew up Roman Catholic, and of course my mom, she's having a fit. She's thinking I'm having a midlife crisis right now, and you know, you're going to see this all around you if you haven't. Open your eyes. I mean, there are probably people all around you that are having relationship problems, and they're checking themselves with their own religions and beliefs. because the energies that are flowing through right now are raising and opening you up just a little bit, maybe planting a seed. Maybe it's somebody that walked your path and just planted a seed, and all of a sudden it grows, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, that person said this, and now I'm seeing it all around me. And they do a little bit of research, and the next thing you know, their awareness has changed from it was last week. And the biggest thing that I've learned out of all my education and research is each individual person's truth is their own. I used to think that if I would get out there and learn the truth, then I could be on a mountain and just spread it to everybody. But really, my truth is different today than it was last week or a month ago, because as we're all changing and growing in consciousness, your awareness changes. Some people might not believe in a religion and say their vibration is here because of that, and here's religion. Well, all of a sudden they go to church and it raises their vibrational frequency to here. Well, that's why I don't think religion's bad. I think it's actually good if it raises it to that point. But if you stay at that level, then, you're in your perfection. We all have free will. You can stay there. But if you spread your wings and go a little bit higher, your truth is going to change. So the things that people told me years ago, I thought they were crazy. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I was the crazy one. So each individual person's truth is their own. So you have to walk your own path and use your own discernment about who tells you what. Because I really think the story is just too big for one person to have all the answers. I mean, look at this universe. It's huge. And some of the tidbits that we've been shown by the Hubble telescope and some of these other scientists that have leaked information, it's just phenomenal what is really out there. That the more we find out, the more we just know we don't know.
So with your new home on wheels, or should we say center on wheels,
yeah,
you could actually go from community to community and maybe give classes and treat people and teach people how to treat themselves from an energy medicine point of view.
And here's another thing, Alfred, that since you brought this up, myself and my girlfriend are creating she just created another website, and it's called Energy Essence.
Okay.
And I'll link that to my other websites here probably within the next couple of days.
Okay.
But what we're trying to do is, if you can't make it to me, or if you don't have Skype or something like that, somehow, we can get you some products that help, because basically everything around us is energy. And if you would instill, say, trying to think of what would be a good example. Like personally, if I was to focus my intent and instill my energy into a certain thing, and then I would send it to you, and your vibration's here, and what I put was here, or I instilled the energy from Archangel Raphael, and all of a sudden you have an ailment, you're focused on that particular ailment in your body, and you have this particular product, say it's a stone or a statue or anything like that. It can raise your vibratory frequency, and it can actually heal that aspect that you're having problems with. Other things are crystals. I mean, crystals such as, oh my gosh, there's so many. There's quartz crystal, there's petersite, there's just so many, and they carry different frequencies. And when you get into these frequencies and you hold these particular crystals, they all have a healing attribute to them. And so those are things that I'm working towards also with this new website that I got going. And, as we're doing here, I can do things via Skype, whether it be hypnotherapy, if that's the way you want to do it, or meditation, or this energy that we just did. So if there's anybody that has a particular personal illness or ailment, we can focus on that also. And if you don't have to come to me for it, if you find another energy medicine individual out there, I mean, absolutely, try it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can be sure to send me all of this information, and we'll make it available with this interview.
Wonderful, yeah.
Yeah, very good. Well, are there any thoughts or just insights that you'd like to leave our viewers with, and also how they can get in touch with you?
Mm-hmm. Well, my website is universaltalk.info. My other one is A Guiding Light, Lite. If you Google either one of those, it'll pop up, of course. And A Guiding Light at gmail.com is my email address, or universaltalking at gmail.com. So either one of those addresses. As far as a final note, in these times, because we're living in a dualistic world in 3D, you can focus on positive or negative. And if you want a rough ride, then you can focus on a negative. But why do that to yourself? Focus on the positives. Raise your vibrational frequency as high as you possibly can before these final events happen that we're talking about. Because the lower the vibration you carry, you can't match up to, I mean, if you're close, you're going to raise to it. So I'm not saying this to scare anybody, but it's a rougher ride when you have to reach a vibrational frequency from way down here to here like that. So if you work on yourself day to day by meditation, going within, getting your own answers, walking your own path and speaking your own truth, you get to your particular vibration and you'll be higher. So when these positive events happen, you're aligned with that positivity. And ideally, this event has happened several times in the past. It runs in cycles, just like anything else in the universe. It's a cyclical event. I really think that humanity's trying to raise to its highest potential, which is Homo luminous. And some of us will get there, some of us won't. But considering we live thousands of lives, if we don't get it this time, maybe we'll get it the next time. There is no right or wrong. There's no sin and all this kind of stuff. It just is. Life just is. So think of things more on a positive note and try to raise your vibratory frequency as high as you can between now and, don't even put a time to it. I mean, eventually it's going to happen. It has to. It's a cyclical event. So that's my best advice to whoever's out there. And if they have any questions for me, universaltalking@gmail.com. And I guess that's it.
Well, Joe, Dr. Joe Marra, thank you very much for the healing, the energy medicine healing, and for spending time with us. And I look forward to spending time with you in the future as our mutual timelines unfold. Absolutely. Especially when you think we're getting closer to the event. Whatever. We'll just leave it at the event, it's just energy.
I think there's going to be several that are just like bang, bang, bang. There'll be a big one eventually probably, but I don't think it's going to be the big bang type thing. But coming up, there's going to be a bigger thing that everybody's going to recognize. There's just going to be like...
So it sounds like what you're talking about, an event, is like almost an escalation of frequency that is such that everybody, each person on the planet will like experience it differently.
Right. Depending what level of vibration their particular human holds at that time and their vantage point. How are you looking at things? So if you're looking at things negative and poor me and all that kind of stuff, the martyr role, you're going to attract more of that. But if you're positive and like, I welcome this, I want this change, you see all the blessings in it, that's what you're going to get.
Amen. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.